All right, episode 6. Only one episode to go after this. Hypnotized. This is up there with the first episode for me. That's probably my favorite episode.
Yeah.
I was really into this one. So, massive connection to the previous episode.
Yes.
We have a character showing up here.
Yes. Dewey.
Dewey from Scream. No?
No.
Different Dewey.
Dewey from the other side.
The other side,
Yeah.
So, we have... So, once again, just to get it out of the way, we introduce this interesting character attribute
Yeah.
that really amounts to nothing. I'm colorblind, which he's like monochromatically colorblind or something. We looked this up, and it's like only less than 1% of colorblind people. It's like super rare that anybody has this. So they take like this very rare thing where you can only see black, white, and shades of gray. And we see it through his vision a little bit, but it amounts to nothing. There's nothing like... I was thinking what was going to happen. Once again, I feel like I say this every episode. But it's like, I thought everyone else was going to be getting hypnotized.
Yeah.
But because he had color blindness, it was going to be some colorful thing. And because he was colorblind, he was either going to like pretend he was hypnotized and he was going to go... you know what I mean?
I was under the impression, though, that his color blindness was like... cured. I was a little confused because I feel like when his friend hypnotizes him initially, it sort of seems like he can see in color.
Yes. Yes.
And then I feel like we have maybe one or two more shots where it's black and white, but I feel like once his family is hypnotized, I don't feel like there's any more references to his being colorblind, and so I was kind of under the impression that he was seeing color, but I also feel like if that was the case, he would have been making a bigger deal out of it.
100%.
So I don't think that's what was happening, but
No.
yeah, it is interesting. Maybe it's introduced to just kind of show how special and unique he is. That's all I can think of, really, because I don't see how it connects to anything in the episode aside from the very opening when he doesn't get a job because he's colorblind.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I can only hope and assume that in P.O. Box, episode 7, that we will get references to a colorblind man and a really great painter. And you know what I mean? Like things that are obvious attributes of other characters.
Yeah.
That we're like, oh, that's... this character.
Sure.
So I don't know. We'll see. But so starting with the beginning here, we got a guy who is down on his luck. He needs money. Money.
Trying to get a job.
Yeah, he's trying to get a job. He gets a job. He is outed as a colorblind person, and he's discriminated against. I actually am like, in that scene, typically those are those scenes where I'm like, oh, come on, corporate bullshit, playing by the rules, nothing personal, but it's just business. But what he is doing, if everything is color oriented, it's a liability for him to come in and just be like, no, I can do it. It's like, dude, you could literally get people killed. You could you could start fires that get people killed, we could burn down buildings, because he's an electrician.
Yeah, well, I think it probably depends. I think that she should have given him a chance because the fact that he can differentiate between shades of gray, I think he could have been able to tell what
because she would
signifies
lose
to what. But
the reason
I understand.
I think that we're not... What isn't impressed upon you enough is that we're in a different country. And it's very, very difficult to find work. It's shown in every one of these episodes.
Yes,
like finding a good job is difficult, and you are lucky to have it. This chick would play by the rules to the letter. If she thought she had any chance of losing her security, there's no way she would take a chance. And I felt that in this. It's like, I don't know what you want me to do. I cannot do it.
Yeah.
I could lose my job.
Right.
I ain't losing my job. It ain't like here. Even though nowadays I feel like it's very hard to find a job in America. But it used to not be. I feel like since COVID, it's been really difficult. Even though every single business has a now hiring sign outside, it's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's pure nonsense. And there's endless listings. Kaylee's applied to 500 of them. I've applied to 200 of them. And it's just like you never get a response. If you get one, it's like 1 out of every 200, you know.
Right.
So I don't know. I wouldn't risk my career, especially in Jakarta at this point. No way. So I don't blame her at all, because she's not really ultimately the decision maker in that regard. You know, she's not at the top of the ladder. If she owned the company or something, I'd be like, yeah, okay, come on, you know, give the guy a chance. But it is dangerous. He absolutely could start screwing up, and who knows? I mean, he might not be familiar. As I'm gonna say, when you're desperate, you'll say anything, right? So it's like, no, you can totally trust me. She gets 10 of those a day. Yeah. Right. So to me, I'd just be like, yeah, no. But I feel like she was sympathetic enough, but believably sympathetic. Yeah. Like, nah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Moving on from that. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I just was agreeing. Like, I think she was sympathetic enough.
Yeah. So he has we'll call him a friend, who teaches him how to hypnotize people. We don't actually see that, but this is a trait he already possesses. Yeah. A learned ability, skill. And so I couldn't really figure this out. It seemed like his friend came over and kind of loosened his inhibitions to go out and rob this woman. But
that's the impression I got.
He did not say anything. So this is okay. Actually, does he ever even really leave that woman? That's actually where.
Sure, that's.
I don't even think he does. I think he
probably doesn't. She probably keeps him the whole time.
So he tries to rob a girl at an ATM. He then is like the worst criminal of all time because there's a security guard out there watching him, and then he decides to, after getting her money, run frantically past the security guard with the money, which is like, what are you doing? But I don't think he leaves that room. I think he tries to hypnotize her and she hypnotizes him back. And everything we see from there is just her taking him over to the top of this building and giving him a chance to pull himself out of it. As funny enough and ironically enough, it's like an audition.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
audition works really well.
No, I know audition, but for jobs, interview.
Yeah.
It's like an interview process, right? It's like, so gets a job at the end of this.
It's like a working interview.
Right, exactly. So does any of this even happen? Like, does he go home? Or does this all take place from the ATM and then she takes him from the ATM to the top of the building?
I guess I hope that he doesn't go home because he obviously destroys parts of his house at the end.
We thought he would killed his family because he was smashing things with hammers.
And there's also a scene where it's like, don't you remember what you did? You were yelling. So he thinks he was hurting his kids and everything. And I think you're right. I think she probably is with him the whole time because she even says your family's in the house. But she does say in the house with you, right?
No.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I guess I don't have a total answer on that.
But we know his physical body is there with her.
Yeah.
And we see that, he falls and supposedly, last second, catches himself and then swings. This guy's got some massive upper body strength. Because, the way I thought this was going to play outside of the color blindness and the hypnosis and everyone else was going to be hypnotized. Another thing I was thinking was happening here is that when he wakes up from, the great part of this is when he comes home after having robbed that girl and there's those consequences of now that you sin, we're sinning. And his kids are ravenous freaking crazy kids that are ready to kill people, and the daughter's like torturing her dolls, and eventually later on the family, she has them like strung up, and then the kids like beating up kids, and the mom is like a freaking kleptomaniac now. And and when we flash forward to the next day, after that girl's plants get taken away, after she cuts up those dolls, after the kid gets in the fight and has the cuts all over her face, and the mom's stealing things, I thought for sure when he came out and the mom was like upset with him, we were going to find out like while he was in this hypnosis trance that he hit the kid, that he tore up her dolls, that he smashed and threw away her plants, he went outside and like stole a whole bunch of shit and brought it home. I thought that was all going
implied.
Sure.
I think for sure. Yeah.
But he doesn't. Because it's all just in his head.
Yeah, but I think like in the hypnosis, that's definitely what's implied for sure.
So you think he thought that's what he did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like.
But he doesn't react to
Inception.
Yeah, I just think
he kind of does, but not like extremely.
Because like then again, we have this like whole moment where the kid teaches him a dance. The guy then focuses on it, and he's like, "If you ever think you're being hypnotized," and like you said, Inception. It's like in Inception. Cillian Murphy's character has already been trained against Inception, because in that world, Inception is a known thing.
Yeah.
And that they have to train rich people that how to protect themselves against people who are trying to. So they have these defenses already built.
Yeah.
So it is similar in that way. And so he builds in his totem, so to speak, where he knows he's being hypnotized. And then he does the dance, and it just doesn't amount to anything, right? Which is fine. It's another subversion. You think that's what's going to get it out of him and all that, but it doesn't. It just ultimately is like, it's just there, and it's gone, and it's pointless.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't wake him up. It's kind of just a signifier of him trying to wake up, really. But it's not enough. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not enough because he didn't come up with it himself, and I wouldn't say that it's 100% necessary to have in there, but it is a cute scene with his son.
Sure.
So.
And, we also have this scene with Dewey where after he breaks out and she's like hired him to save the world. It's always save the world.
It's very dramatic.
It's always dramatic. They now have some mission, which I think is all culminating to this next one.
Yeah.
So my assumption is that when she has this battle with this, siren, or whatever the hell this monster is that's screaming at her with this powerful yell, I think that gives her some kind of I think it's because she alludes to the guy in episode 4.
Yes.
Right? That this is like a guy who knows things. He's been given sight, right? That he's seen, he understands things. So he's the leader, which is what we expected, right? And I think that they're actively working against the demons.
Yes, I agree.
Right. So I don't know how. I don't know if those beings that are out there with the guys in the forest are the good beings, or if because she won the battle with them, some of their powers rubbed off on her, and so she's like the Daywalker, in Blade, he has their, all their powers, none of their weaknesses, and he fights against them with their own powers. That's what I'm assuming is going on here, is that those were the entities that they're fighting against that are maybe in cahoots. Yeah. But then they use white light. The good things use white light, right? Like the orphan uses the white light. The beings out in the forest with the maybe UFO looking type thing, we don't see it, but we see the light. And then also the angel is all white light. And of course white versus, I think, red, because in the first episode everything's like red, but darkness, light versus darkness. But we do see those like creatures once again in the previous episode. Yeah, I think it's the previous episode. No, it's 2 episodes before this. We see those beings again, the ones that suck the youth out of.
Oh yes, yeah,
you know.
we do see them again.
So I think that there's a battle going on between the guy from 1985 and the present in 2024, because then this is in 2022, and then in the previous episode it started in 1997, jumped up 2 years to 99, then 3 years to 2002, and then you're all the way up till 2022, so you're 20 years after that. So I think she's been fighting this for a while, and she's looking for people, and maybe a colorblind guy is what she needs.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe she, ironically, he comes after her, which of course seems very coincidental, but she uses that power. She needs to see if he can break through hypnosis, right? Because our guy in part 5 is under hypnosis.
Yeah.
And he does not come out of it.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And she's like, I need to find someone who can break through.
Yeah.
And maybe he can get her husband out.
Maybe. That would be crazy.
Like, she can get him to go in. But she says it's for the world.
She does. She doesn't say it's for him.
So maybe those guys are coming to hypnotize the world.
Yeah.
Right? And she's trying to find somebody who can combat against it. And because of, I don't know why his colorblindness would have anything to do with it, but he's ultimately able to break free from something maybe no one else has been able to break free from, and she adopted that power because she won that battle out in the forest.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. I think that makes sense.
It's not going to be any of this shit.
It's probably not going to be any of it, but I think it makes sense, and I like it. So, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the show definitely, like, we've always kind of been guessing things at the beginning, and then it doesn't really ever go the way we expect it to go.
Not once.
So, it probably won't go that way, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe we'll be right at the end.
Yeah.
But
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked all of the stuff with the family going bonkers,
it was
and
scary.
Him constantly coming in and out and not knowing what reality is, because the unreality stuff is the scariest shit to me. Like, when you don't know what's real, and you genuinely feel like a crazy person, like everything around you is untrustworthy. This is why I feel like my sympathy has limits, but this is why I'm sympathetic to, like, conspiratorial minded people, where I'm just like, you don't trust anything? That's awful. That's an awful way to live.
Oh, it's
even if it's true.
Scary and sad.
Man, I'd rather live in the Matrix. Because, like, I'm not going to just think literally every single thing. Oh, the fucking world's flat, but they're telling us it's round.
Yeah.
This, and, like, dude, no fucking way. No fucking way. Number one, that shit's bullshit. But even if it, for some reason, wasn't, I just don't want to live in that mindset.
And you can't trust anything.
And you think everyone around you is a moron when you so clearly look like a moron. So I feel bad for them. As I said, it runs out at a certain place where I'm like, yeah, fuck you, you're an idiot.
It's funny because my shirt says,
oh yeah,
deny everything.
Deny everything. Yeah,
Trust
that's
no
ironic.
one.
Yeah, Mulder is definitely the kind of guy. In reality, I'd be like, you're fucking insane. You need mental
But
help.
Mulder, like, he does believe in things and trust some things. He trusts himself, for sure.
But he finds these things out to be true.
Yeah. Anyway, but
yeah,
this is a good episode. This definitely up there. I think you're probably right. I think this one and the first one are probably the best of them so far.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, let's go see what the last one holds, and we'll be back and see if we were right about any of these theories. I don't know if there's anything else here. No. I know there's always things. As soon as we sit down, I was like, oh, I wanted to mention this. I did it with the last one. It's literally the second I sat down with the last episode that we reviewed. I was like, I wanted to talk about something. Yeah. What was it? Was it the dad?
You wanted to...
Oh, that he never took him to the movie theater.
Yeah.
That he, like... And the fact that they didn't, like, go with him when he went to go to get his cigarettes. Like, no. For a while, he would be like, we're not going anywhere apart. That's believable, number one. As I said, I thought he was being manipulated. But number two, the fact that he never tries to take them there, like, look, it's real.
Yeah.
And it's not there or something. I don't know. That stuff is so unbelievable to me. That's why that episode is so unrealistic in every way. His reactions, the way he handles everything. It's like, there's no way, dude. You would 100% be like, I swear to God, it's still there. Come with me. Let me show you.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to take him in there, and then like he was going to take the kid on the second time. I thought the kid was going to go with him.
Yeah.
Or the third time, I'm sorry. The third time, the kid was going to go with him. And then he was going to come back out, and it's going to be years later, and she was going to be like, you know, he's going to get arrested for kidnapping because the kid had been missing for years. You know, but then she'd be like, wait, why haven't you aged? But he had aged.
He had.
Right?
Yeah.
Because at that point, we didn't know he had aged.
Yeah, we didn't know that he had aged.
Anyway,
So.
all right. So we'll see you in the last episode, and we'll see if we were right on anything.
Yes.